MSG will not play this week. Rogers and McCain are probably.
Do you have a long-term prognosis on that?
No, same as what I said. It's just, day to day, week to week, how he responds to treatment. And he's working hard at it. He has not been in a scrimmage type situation yet, so he will not play this week. Well, we typically practice with noise every day, but today we cranked it up, anticipating a hostile environment there. So really important that we practice with that, and if it's really loud, we'll be prepared for it. And but we cranked the noise up pretty loud today. Well, I think you have to account for both, but his running ability in the last 2 games, I think he's carried the ball like 44 times or something like that for over 300 yards. So he's a big threat when it comes to running the football, no doubt about it. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, so he's physical, and he's fast, and so he's like another running back playing quarterback. Yeah, at any point you have to keep someone accountable for the quarterback. Well, I think 2 weeks in a row in the first drive I think we were over aggressive, too aggressive coming out. We got 2 late hits on the lineman, trying to finish the play and not hearing a whistle, and so we have to be smarter there, because those were big penalties for us and put us back. But yeah, it's just a combination of we put a big emphasis today on starting fast and every play, being perfect, and because you don't get a second chance. And if you want to start fast, you got to move the sticks. And we've not done a good job the first couple of weeks with that, typically because it's been a penalty, a late hit, or something like that, or a false start, or so. That's what we focus on today in practice. Really was a fast start for everyone, for the whole team to have a fast start, and it's just going to come down to making sure that we're disciplined. There's certain things that happen, say in a hostile environment like that. If you get an illegal procedure here or there, you don't want it to happen, but it does happen. But the things you can control are things like making sure that we see when the back's down instead of listening for a whistle. And then we had a critical penalty with Keenan spiking the ball on the ground, and so we can't have that, of course. So those are a couple penalties early there that kind of stalled our drives. Our pass rush, it's been decent. We're going to have to be careful and make sure we contain this guy, because if you're over aggressive, the pass rush on him and you give him a lane to escape, he can hurt you. But we've put a decent amount of pressure on the passer. Against Nevada, a lot of it was off play action. It wasn't drop back pass, so you're really playing to the run. And then last week it was a lot of really get the ball out quick. And anytime they tried to hold it, when we got them in long yard situations typically, and they had to hold it, we got to them. few times. But in the second half, the ball was coming out really quick, little quick outs or little spot routes or things, you know. So we turned toward the end there, and that's why we picked the ball off. Mark picked the ball off because it was coming out quick to the flat, and he got that one. Kafusi batted the ball down. Anytime the ball's coming out that quick, you know, then you really have to get into a mode of trying to get your hands up, because those are real quick throws. And Kafusi got his hands and batted one down. But the ball was coming out really quick last week. But we got to him anytime they held the ball. I thought we did a pretty decent job of getting to him. But we got to wrap the quarterback up. That guy was 6'5", 230 last week, and we got to him a few times, but he pulled out of it. And so we got to get him to the ground.
How was your defensive line rotation when you get more guys or what happened?
How is it going?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Well, it will continue to rotate depending on our different packages that we have in the game, be it a nickel package or a base package. And you know, the rotation is always to try to keep guys fresh. And you know, really we're almost back to full strength. Jalil is really the only one that's still a little hobbled. He can play a little bit. We have to just be real smart with him in practice, because of wear and tear on him gets him sore. And so he's taken some reps, but you know, feel like we're, you know, almost back to full strength with the D line.
And the wall, you know, the nice little burst there when he was in the tackle for loss and there the ball down. Did you maybe more of a part of that rotation?
Yeah, he's in the rotation for sure.
And how would like you play?
He's done well. Like you said, he made some plays and got his hand on the ball, and him and Kafusi both batted the ball down. And so, but and I think he's going to play himself. He'll start doing better as well, because I think he had to play himself in shape, because he lost quite a bit of time with that concussion, you know, in camp. And so, you know, a concussion is a little different as far as being, your conditioning is concerned. You know, if you have a hurt shoulder, you can condition, but concussions you really can't. And so I think his conditioning suffered with you know, with being out so long with a concussion.
You're playing against a quarterback who you feel like you can't just go after so hard, you might lose the game. Does that put extra pressure on your secondary to defend, because maybe there's not quite pressure on the quarterback?
Well, we still need to get a push though. You know, we can't give them all day, but we just have to make sure that we stay in our rush lanes and you know, not get out of our lanes and open up big creases in there. But yeah, there's always, anytime you play a quarterback like this, covering for long periods of time is really important, because if he does break out or get free, you know, if you are playing man coverage, you know, you're gonna have to make sure you stay disciplined with your guy, don't let him go. And then in zone coverage, you got to keep your head on a swivel and you know, make sure that you're trying to cover all the holes. But with a guy like, at some point you got to come up and rally to him, you know, or else he'll pull it down. So, but the key is try to keep him contained, where he doesn't get outside and, you know, hurt you outside.
I have the offensive line comparable to others seen the basketball physically.
Yeah. Big offensive line. Mobile.
There was yardage on runs, I presume, not just come on impromptu scramble, big design system.
Quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit of his runs are designed runs. You know, he ran a quarterback draw last week at an empty for about a 50-yard touchdown or so. But yeah, there's a lot of the zone read and the option that goes with it, where, you know, he's pulling the ball. If you take away the dive back, you know, then he'll pull it and get on the edge, and then typically option a second level guy in space. And so some runs are just quarterback runs where they're blocking completely for him, and some are reads, zone reads and options that go with it.
What does that carries for a quarterback? An awful lot. Would you expect him to dial that back a little bit, being nervous about that much abuse?
Well, I did read an article about that they were concerned a little bit about, you know, anyone carrying the ball 27 times, whether it's a running back or a quarterback, but especially your quarterback. But that's a big part of their offense, you know, and he is 220 pounds, and so, but I think your quarterback carrying the ball 27 times, you know, I'm not sure that they, like the article I read, I'm not sure that they're fired up about that. But, you know, all those runs aren't designed runs. Those are some scrambles and things that go along with it as well.
On Saturday, you had some words with Maynard, and it's a little bit of an unusual situation. Sometimes it comes up in the heat of the moment. Without getting into, you know, what was exchanged, how do you deal with a situation like that? Do you think about sitting a player for a series or more?
No, it was just, you know, part of the game. You know, it wasn't anything. You know, Zach had a great attitude, and you know, it was. I think he was frustrated. He missed the fullback in the flat, and you know, things like that. So, you know, it was fine. You know, there was nothing derogatory or nothing like that. It was, you know, you're a competitor in the heat of the game, and it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it.
Their secondary has been really impressive. I know a bunch of interceptions in these first two games. How do you approach your young receivers against a fairly experienced secondary?
Well, it's, you know, you have to run precise routes, and you know, the interceptions weren't the ones that I saw on tape were not necessarily the receiver's fault. You know, the quarterback doing the coverage and had a ball tipped, and you know, they had one out in the field where it got tipped, and then a corner picked it off. You know, I thought he's doing the coverage. Then there was one on the goal line where I thought the quarterback got fooled a little bit. The linebacker got it at the line of scrimmage. And then there was another one. The quarterback tried to fit a flag route in, and the corner baited him into throwing it, and he got that one. So, you know, they're a good secondary. You know, they're experienced and they're good, and they understand their areas on the field and how to split the difference between people and be able to rally the balls and things like that. So they're good players, you know. But the receiver part of it is not so much, you know, a concern. As long as we're disciplined with our depth of routes and being where we're supposed to be, you know, I think we'll be fine. It's just, you know, making sure that we make good decisions at the quarterback position.
Are you okay with the decision that
Yeah. Zach's done very well. He hasn't forced the ball. Last week's interception was a total fluke. You know, you never see that happen on a wide screen. You're supposed to cut the end, and it's a blind throw really for the quarterback, and the end didn't get cut, and so, you know, you never expect that. You're not reading the defensive end on a wide screen, you know. But for the most part, Zach's done a nice job of not forcing the football, and has made some plays with his legs of getting out when he's got outside the pocket. He's been accurate with his throws, and so I think his management of the game and protecting the football has been good. Besides getting stripped, you know, he's got to put it away when he starts running. But as far as throwing the football, he's managed the game pretty well.
In terms of national perception of this game coming in, your team would not be given much of a chance by, you know, the outside fans or media. Is that a good position for your team to be in to win this game?
Yeah, we're not going to play to that. I mean, we expect to go there. We're going there to win a football game. You know, I don't know what the perception is or whatever. I know the perception in our locker room is, you know, we're going there to win and compete and execute. We understand we're playing a great football team and great tradition in a place that's a hostile environment. And so, you know, we understand the level of competition, but that's not something we're backing down from. Perception, you know, we're not going off of perception. That's not something we're going to play to. We're going to play to our abilities and capabilities and what our expectations are.
What's your relationship with Urban Meyer like, and what's your impression of what he's done so far with the program going off tradition, but some of the stuff last year? So.
Well, Urban and I are good friends. You know, he's probably one of my better friends in coaching, and I have a lot of respect for him. And you know, I know, you know, anytime you go into a program and you're dealt, you know, we were kind of dealt the same thing in my first year here, not being able to go to a bowl game because of something that happened before you got there, but, you know, Urban's a great coach, he's a very good motivator, you know, he runs a strict program, and so, you know, I'm sure, you know, and he's a very good recruiter, so as time goes on, I'm sure he'll definitely put his mark on the program, as he already has to a certain extent.
When would you typically, in the course of the year, see him?
At the Nike trip, last year at the Nike trip, him and I played golf twice together and spent a lot of time and just hanging out and talking, but that's really the only time we have a chance that we're in the same spot together, is on the Nike trip. But
What time of year is that?
I don't know, late February maybe, something like that. We did, yeah. That's how we first knew each other, is we were visiting the Rams together, and so that's when we first met, and hung out and talked then. And ever since then, we've, you know, anytime we're at some coaching function, whether it be the Nike convention or the football convention, anytime we see each other, we spend time together.
Was that when you were still in Oregon, or were you here?
Well, I think I was at Oregon at that time. I can't remember. Shoot, that was a long time ago.
You both offensive?
No, I think actually he was at. No, I can't. He may have been at Bowling Green at the time, so I don't know when that was. I can't remember if he was. I think he was at Bowling Green. He was at Bowling Green first, and then Utah, right? Yeah. So I think that's when he was at Bowling Green. Actually, it was when he was at Bowling Green. Now that I think about it. Did you follow all that? Did you follow that?
When you do see him, you ever like talk shop, draw plays, how about this?
We do sometimes. This year we did not talk much shop. You know, it was really just mainly about just the coaching profession in general, and you know, things like that. But you know, we've become good enough friends where we talk family and you know, things like that. But this year there was not a lot of football, as you can imagine.
It's been well documented, you know, how he sort of overexerted himself in those last few years of employee. How difficult is it as a coach trying to balance family life with, you know, putting in 80, 100 hours in the office during vacation?
Yeah, I guess it depends on who you are, but it's definitely, you know, his personality and my personality are very similar when it comes to that, you know. So there's no question that it's stressful, and you know, the family, there's a lot of family sacrifice that goes on. You know, you never see your kids play, or you know, not around them, and you know, so there's you know, I don't think it's any secret. There's a lot of stress to this job, to this profession. So you know, and it's intense and it's stressful, but you know, I mean, you love it, and that's why you do it, is for the competition, and you know, to put the kids in a position to be successful. And you know, there's nothing like it. You know, in my mind, there's nothing like it. And you know, Urban is very driven, and you know, but I think what he went through before helped him put some things in perspective of you know, not trying to do everything himself, and you know, type of thing, and kind of delegate a little bit, and you know, and put things in perspective.
What can you do now to try to get away here and there, not necessarily in season, but just to kind of get away from all the bigger cameras?
No, just, you know, mainly just in the summertime. You know, when it's time for vacation, you really have to force yourself to take vacation. You know, and you have to try to disconnect a little bit, because there's never a time off in this job. There's never, even if it's in the summertime. You know, your kids are in school, and recruiting never stops, and you know, so it's constant. You know, there's something every single day. You know, when you have over, you know, 115, 17 to 22-year-olds, there's something happening every day. You know, and so to manage football, the workouts, the recruiting, the discipline, the academics, you know, all the things that go along with it. You know, there's hardly a time where you can disconnect. There's never a day where you're just, you know, not thinking about something that's going on here. And, you know, which is okay. I'm not complaining by any means, but, you know, when I'm on vacation, typically, you know, whatever that is for a couple weeks there, I don't stay gone here very often. You know, I may stay gone for 2-3 days at a time and then be back, because I get more anxious and more nervous being away than if I'm here, because you never want to get back and, you know, have a stack of things that you could have dealt with earlier. But
You sit by the pool, it goes over your wife on a trip, you're still a backpacker.
yeah, typically every day, you know, I want to call in and make sure everything's okay, and then, you know, move on with the day. I'd rather do it that way than sit around wondering about, you know, what may be going on. So typically that's the way it works. And, you know, at that point you're doing installation or, you know, for fall camp or getting some paperwork done or whatever. But as much as possible, try to disconnect and have at least most of the day just trying to think about your family and your wife and what you're doing.
So you can really relate that to what you went through.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, no doubt about it. You know, the stress levels and the anxiety is high. You know, and you know, so but it's part of the job, and that's, you know, you got to deal with it. You know, I've dealt with it a lot over the years, and it's real. I can tell you that it's real. Not something that's made up.
I guess maybe time for a final question.
Perception nationally has been that the Big Ten sort of been in decline the last couple of years. Pac-12 takes all 3 games this last weekend. Do you feel like Urban being at Ohio State, his success with that tradition has sort of helped reestablish and elevate the league back to?
I don't know. It's, you know, comparing leagues and, you know, things like that. I think that's something you do after the season. You know, once it's all said and done. It's still early in the year, and there's a lot of things that can happen, and you know, so comparisons are typically made after the season, in my mind at least, after the season's over, after the bowl picture plays out, and what happens in bowl games really, you know, is the key in my mind.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.